The year is 2009 and a lot of things are cool right now. The first iPhone just came out, which is pretty fucking cool. Teenagers calling things gay for being stupid is pretty cool. Calling things stupid for being gay, not so cool. We were still a little more progressive at the time. Nancy Pelosi is now the Speaker of the White House, but I don't give a fuck. I'm 11. I'm too busy trying to learn how to crank that Soldier Boy. I started dating my crush that was in the same class as me, which was pretty cool. She broke up with me the next day before our Skateland field trip and got back together with her ex, which wasn't that cool. But then my life will be taken over for the next month by the song Thunder by Boys Like Girls. And that's fucking cool also. 6th grade, man. 6th grade. But among the things that were happening at the time, something else that was happening was the PlayStation 3 was trying to catch up to the Xbox 360. Now the Xbox 360 dropped late 2005 and the PlayStation 3 dropped late 2006. There was a little more catching up to do. PlayStation was all like, oh, we're gonna give you guys Call of Duty 3 if you buy our system. And Xbox 360 was like, fuck you. You can play Call of Duty 3 on our console, but also you can play Call of Duty 2. What's that? You're playing the Incredibles video game on your PlayStation 2 instead of an Xbox 360? Catch up to current gen, nerd. And you're poor. And even though I had a PS2 at the time, I ended up getting the Xbox 360 first. Why? Because I wanted to play Left 4 Dead. Fucking duh. And this isn't to say that PlayStation didn't have good launch titles. I mean, they had Need for Speed Carbon. Like I said, they had Call of Duty 3, and they had a Resistance Fall of Man. So they had those games and a bunch of other pretty good games that were available at launch. But they were still looking to get that one staple game that could let everybody know that the PlayStation 3 is here. We're gonna jump ahead of Xbox 360. Fuck Master Chief. So in enters Naughty Dog. And in 2007, everybody's already aware of who Naughty Dog is. You know, they came out with games such as Crash Bandicoot, the Jak and Daxter series, and Ski Craze. Do you guys remember Ski Craze? You know, Naughty Dog's second game, fucking loved that one. And they were so ready to use all of PlayStation 3's new capabilities to be able to put out a bomb-ass game that will help PlayStation 3 jump ahead of Xbox 360. And boom, Uncharted 1, Drake's Fortune was born. Now coming out with a new game for a new console means so many different things to play with. They were able to use stuff like motion captures for the cutscenes, the water, the motion controller, the water. The fucking water. They talked about the water so fucking much.
Waterfalls. Water. Really nice water.
Nathan Drake would go into a lake and he'd come out and he'd still be dripping and people were losing their fucking minds over it.
Water, that's for sure.
Now when that came out and out of PlayStation 3, I honestly, I did not get it. I didn't get the game. I was more interested in games like 2K. I had Call of Duty. I remember one year, all my friends came over for my birthday party, and I bought Madden because they all liked football. I don't play Madden. I don't play Madden at all. The NFL Street 2, now that's a different fucking story. And because a lot of people did get it when it first came out, there's a lot of nostalgia that they hold close. There's a lot of feeling that they hold close to that game. But like I said, I didn't have that. So I have no problem saying that game fucking
Lots of chases, running around looking for treasure, unlikely allegiances with a whole crazy cast of characters, lots of narrow escapes and risky situations. So we took all of this stuff and then started to look at how we might be able to reinvent it for the 21st century.
Like out of the entire series, God bro, I hated that game so much. The gameplay was chunky, the story was fucking lame. I honestly didn't even pay attention to a lot of the story because I just didn't care. It didn't give me anything to care about, and I was like, fuck dude, I just want to get to Uncharted 4 already. They would offer you things like a brutal combo that you can use with melee. I never used it once. They would sometimes remind me and I would go and try to use it and it wouldn't work and I'd be like, fuck this, I'm not using the brutal combo anymore. You had no desire to use the primary weapons, so I would just be doming people up with the pistol the whole time. Just pop, 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 pop. The game starts out introducing Nathan, Elena, and Sully. All the characters are very one-dimensional. I mean, I'm not gonna really bash on the story too much because it was their first game. They're getting their footing down. They're kind of just showing their capabilities graphics-wise. They focus a lot more on the graphics of this game and showing off the new capability as the PlayStation 3 has. other than, oh, let's crank down at the story. So you meet Nathan Drake. He's an heir of Francis Drake, who is a guy from history. I should have done more research on that stuff before making this video, but it is what it is.
Respect the research. Ah, that is what I'm talking about.
He's a wise-ass adventurer, very Indiana Jones, national treasure, Nicolas Cage type. And you have Sully, who's a friend/business partner of his, who helps him on this expedition to try to find the treasure of Francis Drake. Then you have Elena, which in this game, I wanted Elena to shut up, dude. She's so annoying in this game. But she was definitely one of the biggest characters of the entire series, and probably the most important. The one thing that I will say that Naughty Dog did a good job at was not having Elena be this like copy-paste damsel in distress female character in a video game that people were using in a lot of story mediums like video games or movies. There was always a girl who was a damsel in distress, and they're like, no, Elena can get saved sometimes, but she can also hold her fucking own, and she can also save Nathan sometimes. And at the time, Elena is this very important journalist, and Nathan hits her up like, yo, I'm the heir of Francis Drake, and I know where the treasure is. If you fund my expedition, you can come with. I can give you a fucking hard-hitting story. And then he turns to Sully and is like, yo, we're gonna ditch this chick as soon as you get to the fucking island, dog. I'm not even tripping about it. But then when they get to the island, they run into Roman, Navarro, and Eddie. Like I said, I didn't really pay attention to the story too deeply, so I didn't give a fuck about these characters. They gave me nothing to work with. They were very one-dimensional also. Basically, Roman and Sully used to be business partners, but things went south, and you could see that when Roman shoots Sully.
Nothing to do. Sully! Sully!
Nathan gets separated. He has a parachute, and the parachute breaks. Nathan runs back into Elena, he gets hit in the face, he apologizes, and he's like, yo, okay, now we got that out of the way, let's go find this fucking treasure. And they're going through, popping all these mercenaries and doing all these puzzles. Now, the puzzles in this first game weren't very plentiful, but they were there, and they were pretty annoying. A lot of puzzles start to annoy me in games. Sometimes they can be fun. I don't know, it depends on how hard they are. Like, I'm fine with the puzzles in Legend of Zelda. I remember having Thomas and my friend Udi solve one of the puzzles in Twilight Princess for me, because I couldn't solve them. It was the one where the two Stonehenge guys, the two stone statues would jump in separate directions, and you had to get them at the same place. I couldn't do that shit. And then they go through and then they run into fucking zombies, and I was like, what the hell are there? Why are there zombies in this game? What's up with there's a lot of This was, I'm forgetting, this is 2009. Everything is fucking zombies right now. My life was zombies at the time. I had the Left 4 Dead 2 trailer as my wallpaper on my flip phone. I was super into zombies.
This used to be a nice neighborhood.
So then they fight off all the zombies and they run back into Sully and like, oh shit, Sully, you're not really dead. He's like, nah, I just got shot in the notebook. Francis Drake's notebook was around my chest and he shot me in the chest. And it hit my note. I'm not dead. I'm not dead. They end up running back into Roman and Navarro, and they realize that Navarro was just trying to use Roman to get close to the treasure of El Dorado. So he has Roman touch the treasure, and Roman's like, fuck, dude, what the fuck is happening right now? Roman dies, and Navarro grabs the chain, wraps around the treasure, throws it up on the helicopter, gets on the helicopter and flies off. And Nathan Drake's like, no, fuck that. And he jumps on the treasure and goes up with it. And this was the very first taste we got of the cinematic capabilities that Uncharted is about to be known for. Nathan Drake hanging from a treasure that's hanging from a helicopter that's flying through the air, laying a hostage with them. She's in the helicopter and you're like, they're going through the air, and Elena kicks out one of the mercenaries. Mercenary falls, shoots off his gun, he shoots the helicopter pilot. The helicopter starts going down and it crashes on the ship they were gonna escape on. And then Navarro ends up on one side of the ship, and Nathan ends up on the other side of the ship. And this is all part of the cinematic thing that I was talking about with Uncharted that I was about to hit. Because in this part, they started borrowing the idea of not every main boss has to be the hardest person in the entire game, you know? But because of how early the game was, the ending was very anticlimactic. You went up and you start fighting Navarro, it would be like, hey, press triangle to dodge, you dodge, press square to punch. It's very back and forth of that. And Navarro's like, no, fuck this guy. He takes his gun and he's gonna shoot him. He's like, any last words? And Nathan Drake says something cheesy. And then he pushes the helicopter off the ship. I've been trying to practice a way to emphasize enough how crazy that is, how crazy that sounds. Nathan Drake pushes a helicopter He pushes the helicopter. He pushes the helicopter.
Adios, asshole.
On a scale of Uncharted 4 to not Uncharted 4, I give this game a whopping hella fucking not Uncharted 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is just part 1 in my 4-part series of the Nathan Drake series of Uncharted. Also, special thanks to Dylan Barry for having me on his podcast, the Dylan Barry Network. Go ahead and check that out. He has me on and we talk about my video on The Last of Us 2, as well as him talking about a bunch of other stuff you guys will probably think is cool. So go ahead and check it out. Thanks and see you next time.
Adios, asshole.